Eugenia Cooney is a YouTuber who is mostly known for her illness. She has severe anorexia nervosa, and she has for a long time. She's been in the public eye for a very long time. It's basically been a decade of her on YouTube. And most of the attention that she gets is negative. And I think that she might prefer it that way at this point. And TikTok kind of popped up at a time when she found out how to use that platform to get even more comments, and it's like fuel for her addiction almost.
There's a $20 one there from Dave Gazuli.
Says, Taylor Swift may put you on the map of someplace, but as Scarecrow said in Batman Begins, I never said they'd be places you wanted to go.
Technically, I think he says that at the beginning of The Dark Knight. Just
don't fact check Brett on that. Just to clarify.
He's going to take back that $20.
I told you our organization would take you places. I never said it'd be places you wanted to go. I think I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, feel free to mog me in the chat. But it's the scene where he's got the mask on and he's getting out of the van. I think that's in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, there we go. There you go. No mogging.
I just watched it like a month ago, so I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about.
All right, but thank you, Dave.
Eugenia just released a particularly disturbing video on TikTok where she is cosplaying as Beyonce, in this skimpy outfit with fishnets and stilettos and a wig on, and she's performing Single Ladies. She's like lip syncing to Single Ladies.
I also want to point out that in the article they put alleged anorexia.
There's no alleged about it.
Well, she admitted to
yes.
Okay.
Wasn't that a portion of her documentary with?
Yeah. Well, Shane Dawson makes documentaries.
Yeah.
Here's for the people in the chat who don't know what she looks like. We've covered her before. Yeah. Here's a picture of her. It's very scary to see. It is. Let's watch the clip.
We can't play it with the music, obviously, because that will get us in trouble. But just to, I guess, show you why people found this so scary and disturbing.
And for people
that's
who
the content.
Haven't seen a lot of her other stuff, she does this in like other types of cosplay too.
Yeah, this is like basically her entire online presence at this point.
Like imagine Britney Spears dancing videos, but anorexic and cosplay.
So you can see the arms.
I was scared for a second. We got a $20 one from Rick Bungle. Mary, what is your favorite Taylor Swift song? Mine is Shake It Off. I will never be famous enough to date Taylor Swift, but I might have a chance with Lizzo. I'd even settle for getting robbed by Cardi B. Look, you're better than that, King. You're better than both Lizzo and Cardi B.
Yeah.
And maybe Taylor Swift won't ever know who you are, but I don't know. Keep trying.
Do you have a favorite Taylor Swift song?
My favorite Taylor Swift song, Should Have Said No. It's an obvious hit from her country days.
Not Tim McGraw?
That's also a good one. I pretty much like anything on her first album. Yeah.
So, in the chat, Alan Garcia says Taylor Swift isn't real. Very possible. I've never seen her in real life. Could be fake. Could be AI for all we know.
Yeah. I mean, she might as well be.
Maybe Zuckerberg created her in a lab. That could be it. Her it was like some type of like co-project between Meta, which was just Facebook back then.
I mean, it does feel like social control that TikTok allows content like this to be on the For You pages of like actual children.
What's funny,
and YouTube allows it too, and there have been calls to demonetize her, to take her channel down. I don't know how I feel about that, but this is clearly accessible to kids, and she doesn't really care what the consequences are.
This might sound a little like lefty coming from me, but like if women who are on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, who have like a lot of excess weight, who are obese, get their content flagged for being obese, why aren't women?
Wait, do they?
I've seen it.
They do.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
Wow.
For like excess cleavage. Not like the Lizzo stuff because she seems to be untouchable.
Right.
But like normal people So then why isn't Eugenia Cooney's content
Wait,
being
why
flagged?
is it flagged? Why is the
for being like pornographic in content.
Oh, okay. I mean, I thought you were saying because they're like, look, this is promoting unhealthy body image issues.
Oh, no.
I mean, that's the issue.
Showing
here, right?
off too much. I mean, like,
I haven't seen examples of that, but I think that they're trying to avoid the accusation that they're discriminating against someone for like a mental illness, which they, in theory, have no control over. And I mean, I guess I see that argument. But none of the social media platforms have, to this day, actually censored her. And it's just kind of ridiculous when you see the double standards of what does get censored.
What's funny
on
is
TikTok
like,
and on YouTube, and you see that this is fine.
Skating content, like the type of skating that I do, that content that gets like content warnings is like promoting dangerous activities on TikTok.
It's just ridiculous.
This is promoting dangerous activities. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. How long have you been aware of her existence online?
Oh, well, I was really big into watching YouTubers back in the day when YouTubers were actually fun.
Yeah. Remember that?
When they were actually fun. And actually surprisingly very controversial. So I remember watching her from pretty early on and seeing that she was skinny back then, but now she's extraordinarily skinny now, and I think she's rebounded a couple of times, and it almost kind of hurts me trying to even talk about it because I don't want to fuel the fire for, like, I know it encourages her when she sees people talking about her body, because that's just something that it mentally takes place when you have an eating disorder. When you want to be perceived as very small, you feel affirmed when people are shocked and outraged on the internet about your body. You know?
Right. But it's all anyone talks about in regard to her.
Because she puts out so much content.
And that's, like, in a way, a defense mechanism. Like, you don't have to judge me for anything else other than my appearance if I look this shocking.
I never thought about that. Yeah, like you could, the idea would be, like, have one shocking thing about you and then just have the most insane views in the entire world.
But it's like, she used to have such a vibrant personality before. If you look back at her old videos, she had a wider vocabulary and a pretty, like, sharp sense of humor, and she had like this edgy sense of humor. Like, she was part of the emo YouTuber crowd, like back when My Digital Escape was a thing. And she always got comments concerned about what she looked like, but at least she had other things to offer at the time, and now she's just gotten really kind of brain damaged from all of this, like starvation.
Right.
And you can tell, like, she's not able to answer basic questions or keep her train of thought going on streams.
Yo Pops in the chat, we will get to your super chat later. I'm just letting you know that we take the $20 ones in order as they come. Everything else we get to between segments at the end. So I'm just answering a question in there. Let him know.
Like you were yelling at him a little bit.
Hey, bro, calm down. You know, that's that was my dad's ironclad tactic for winning an argument. He'd say something that would, like, you know, like get a rise, because, you know, you're arguing, you're fighting, you're like, hey, why are you yelling? And then I would just get like, I'll tell you why I'm yelling.
You turn into that Key and Peele skit where it's like, you're literally blowing my eardrums out.
Yeah. Maybe my dad watched it. Yeah.
You are screaming right now.
Like, and this kind of goes back to, this was a discussion that we had with this topic mirrors in a way the Britney Spears discussion about who has a right and when to interfere in someone's business when they're doing something that, based on your subjective idea of what is harmful, are committing harmful acts. With Britney Spears, it's that she's dancing around with knives and could fillet her dog or potentially cut herself, which she had cuts on her body, right?
Yeah.
So with this, it's like you're watching someone who has a very clear problem there. That's not what a human being is supposed to look like.
Well, and also the one person that should be intervening with Eugenia Cooney is her mom, except her mom props her up.
Right.
And appears in videos with her.
Her mom tells people the same things. It's all fine. She's fine. She's recovered now. She did the 5150 with, like, she lies just as much as Eugenia does. She's a problem, and she probably lives off of her income too.
And it's fair to point out that social media and the culture we live in, where influencers and you grow to fame on your own with your own niche, it's like this is a thing.
I think she definitely should be age restricted on these platforms, and I don't think that is a form of interference. I think that would be a fair compromise for all sides here. But I wanted to read some reactions to this clip that was posted on Twitter. It got a lot of views. Tim Poole said, "Police intervention immediately. I'm not libertarian enough to be okay with this. Her behavior has already influenced teenagers in dangerous ways."
Middle MAGA in the responses there, friend of the show, says, "I am libertarian enough. More power to her."
Funnily enough, though, she already had police intervention.
Yep.
Her friends, her YouTube friends. Hold on one second. We got a $20 from Corey Anderson. I say this in the nicest way possible, but Eugenia grosses me out. I cannot look at her. It turns my stomach. The best Taylor Swift song is Begin Again. It's pretty good. Ladies, you look lovely today. Oh, hi, Brett.
I'll take that, I guess. Thank you. I don't look lovely, but that's okay. That's okay. It's not my job to look lovely.
You look dashing. How about that?
Perfect. And all of those are wrong, by the way. I'd Lie is the best Taylor Swift song. Just pointing
It's unreleased, so that's a pretty
deep cut.
Yeah.
Deep cut.
But yeah, she already got 5150. This was back in like 2018, right? And her YouTube friends, including Jacqueline Glenn, were the ones responsible for that. And she was forced to go to an involuntary care facility, and it didn't stick, obviously. Like, none of the improvements, if there were any beyond the surface level, stuck with her.
Would we then also, like, if the idea here is to get police involved? Thank you!
Thank you!
Look, I point out all the time, we talk about Nikocado Avocado.
Yeah.
I point out that one of my guilty pleasures, one of my favorite content to watch is this girl. It's Gal Who Eats, and she's this skinny. She's beautiful, and she can eat like a Big Mac in one bite.
There's so much disturbing food
competitive eating, right?
And like I never go search out the YouTube videos, but if she posts something on Instagram, I watch it. Mainly, I look at her and I'm like, how did she get her teeth so white? That's actually the number one question I ask. But she's like, her content, like now.
So you do admit that you enjoy mukbangs?
I like just her videos of and it's like just a burger. I've never gone and sought out the content online, but I don't like look for a lot of weird stuff on the internet. But she like there's a novelty to it when you see it, because if it was a fat person, it would be disgusting. And I'm willing to admit that I watch it because there's something interesting about the dichotomy. She also points out, she's like, look, I work out every day, and I literally only do this for the videos, and she's very open about the fact that this isn't something that's healthy to do all the time, and she makes sure to make that point when she interacts with people online. But it's still, in a lot of ways, it still projects a bad message when that's the content you're creating. But who are we to tell somebody whether they can make good or content with a bad message? There's plenty of people who would watch our show and say we're not promoting good messages.
The thing is, her content doesn't have a message at all.
Yeah, it's more that there's not exactly a message. It's just her persona.
Yeah, it's kind of just gore.
Yeah,
almost. It's just like gore content that is allowed for some reason.
She had this one where she goes to like Greece and eats, like, makes the joke where she's just gonna eat McDonald's but in Greece.
I bet it's better in Greece.
Oh, I mean, McDonald's is objectively healthier in other countries
too. But they
use
like real oil or like animal fats to fry.
They use like beef tallow.
They probably use beef tallow.
I remember like being kind of like grossed out at first. The first time I ate like a McDonald's burger in Spain, and it took like a day because I was just so used to the gross American version. Yeah, it took like a while to be like, oh, so this is just what it tastes when there's not like even more chemicals that don't need to be added to make it work. Also, you can get beer there when you're
at McDonald's.
Yeah. That was the best part.
Here's a tweet from Keemstar. It says, Eugenia Cooney only got healthy when her friends betrayed her. They invited her to hang and secretly called the police and had her entered against her and her mother's will in a facility. After she gained weight and was healthy, she did a Shane Dawson documentary and blamed her friends for betraying her. The truth is, the real person betraying her was her mother this entire time, and her current state of health is proof of that. I agree with this statement. And I think that evidently Eugenia has decided that it's time to call it quits. Unfortunately, I think she's just in a death spiral right now, and she knows that she's doing it on purpose, because she's purposefully kept it at a manageable level for the last decade. Like, she knows what she's doing. She's aware of what it takes to continue staying alive on like the lowest maintenance possible, and she's decided it's over.
That's so
like
sad.
she's ready
That's so depressing.
to leave this world. Like, I think that she's just made that final decision and she's done.
And there's something scary about the fact that we live in a world now where you as a passive consumer get to like scarily have front row access to that happening to a person, and it's scary.
And people are being really like kind of gruesome about it, but she's in a way sees her own condition in a similarly callous way. So I mean, who are we to talk about like the way you should talk about her condition? She's probably just as glib about it. You know, there's something really nihilistic about that.
Yeah.
And it's depressing. But these are the darkest, in a lot of ways, the darkest corners of the internet. Like when I post it's like finding like this weird middle ground, right? Like we covered Britney Spears yesterday, and we talk about what it means that this lady is just dancing around with knives as her dogs look on, frightened. And what does it mean for society? What does it mean for you as an individual? And then today, it's memes of her as a hibachi chef. And that really is the name of the game, right?
Yeah.
Is that the internet has turned a lot. Now, I could be projecting here because of the job, because of all the topics we cover, but it feels like the internet has turned all generations into an increasingly emotionally dead world. Like it's very, very like, it's almost like the people that are offended are lying and everybody else wishes they could get offended, but they can't.
True.
Because like nobody's actually offended,
that.
but I wish I was. Like, I wish I could be offended, but for the most part,
we're dead inside.
Yeah. And that, like I said, that could be weapons grade projection on my part because I have to read these stories all day long every day, and that the average person who isn't terminally online doesn't feel that way. Sure. But it feels like as the culture grows to be a more digital culture, that's the way we're going.
Well, I think people are overstimulated no matter if you're terminally online in our sect of the internet or just in general. People are really overstimulated with a bunch of different tragedy and crazy things going on in the news that, I mean,
right.
I agree. I think we're all kind of...
What are you supposed to do when you see this video of Eugenia? You scroll.
Oh, it's sad.
It's because you're so
scroll or you put your phone down.
You're detached, right? Like, you're like, oh wow. I mean, but it wasn't really all that different in the past, right? People would watch the news. My dad would come home and watch the news, and I forget, like, because I never came home from someplace and watched the news. But every one of our family members, if they came home from work and they turned the news on, it's like so and so was murdered in North Minneapolis, and then you're like, wow, that's sad. And then you turn the TV off and you go make dinner.
Oh yeah, it makes me think of like
running tallies of death tolls in Iraq and Afghanistan on the news for a while.
With the death of
submersible countdowns.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I forgot about the submersible countdown. Like that was actually the perfect example of how to distinguish the difference between all this, because I found it egregious that people celebrated their death but had no problem laughing at memes about the sub. Which is a weird...
Isn't that a coping mechanism?
It's a weird, like there was a ton of videos that I found to be unbelievably funny, but something about people like laughing, like these rich people deserve to die because they're gluttonous pigs who have too much money, that somehow felt more real to me and offensive, if dare I use that term.
Yeah.
But the idea that somebody would make a video with a song called Submarine, where it's a guy rapping about having a PlayStation, having an Xbox in the submarine as it's going down, that was somehow okay. And I can't explain to you in good conscience why I thought one was okay and one wasn't.
$20 one from the Ninja from Pop Culture Planet said, I'm glad to know that now, sir. Or what? I'm glad to know that now, sir, but thanks for ruining a joke. Mary, my grandma always prayed the St. Michael prayer before bed when I was a child. Bless her heart.
What's the St. Michael prayer?
Well, there's a prayer to St. Michael for protection, spiritual protection. I don't know if I should just like
at it right now.
I was forced.
Should I do that?
My middle name was Anthony, and I lost things constantly, so I had to say St. Anthony all the time because I was always losing everything.
Is there a specific prayer to St. Anthony?
St. Anthony, please come around. Something is lost that must be found. So I would have to say that.
I never heard that.
I would have to say that constantly because I was always misplacing everything I owned all the time. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you find your keys in the microwave, and you have no idea why.
You can't put metal in the microwave.
That's a bad idea.
That didn't ever actually happen. But the point is, you'd find your stuff in weird places, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's gallows humor is I think going to get worse and worse in the culture because it is a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism because back in the day, your parents came home and got bad news for 20 minutes. While watching the 5 o'clock news. Now you are inundated with bad news all day, every day on your phone.
Right.
And that is just a coping mechanism to deal with it. So. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.